Hi,
Hi
everyone.
everyone.
Welcome back to another episode of Can We Discuss with Yara and Petra.
On today's episode of Can We Discuss, we'll be discussing how relationships affect friendships and vice versa. We're going to take you through a journey of personally, of course, just discussing our experiences of how relationships have affected our friendships starting in the I want to say early 20s until today, our early 30s.
Yeah.
And I think both Petra and I have a lot to say about this conversation or about this topic because because we've both, I think, at one point in our lives prioritized one or the other. But for the majority of our life, I think we've prioritized our friendships.
Yes.
That has shifted. That has changed, of course.
Yeah.
But starting in our 20s, I think this is very important to say. I chose to not have a relationship in my 20s. I chose to just maintain my friendships, really be extremely independent. Fine, I'd go out on random dates here and there, but it would never be anything that I would care much about. And I would always just want to go out with my girls. We want to go party. And we had a good group of people, like girls and guys, that we would all hang out together. And my 20s was just all about me doing, or early 20s was just all about me doing all of that until, I mean, not until, but I want to say I met my now husband. Um, I think I was 22 when we started dating, if I'm not mistaken. I think with that coming along, I still wanted to maintain my friendships as a priority for me.
Yeah.
How did that change for you, Petra?
I
I
think
know, but
I,
I think I want everybody else to know.
yeah. I think for me, I did choose to have a relationship in my early 20s throughout college, right? So kind of late teens, 18, 19, into my early 20s. And it was an interesting one for me because I did prioritize my friendships internally, but I didn't really act on it for in my relationship. Like, for example, I felt like I gravitated in that relationship a lot more to his friends group, and I loved them and I'm still friends with all
Mm.
of them today. But I also struggled with it a lot because I had a core friend group who was with me in college, who I was obsessed with and I was living with on the weekdays. And then on the weekends, it was very hard for me to bridge the two worlds. And I don't think I ever bridged the two worlds. And of course, your partner plays a big role in this, a kid, but at the same time, I have to take accountability for me. Like, I didn't put in the effort to also blend those two worlds, you know? So I think for me, obviously, that shifted a lot in my now relationship with my husband, where from the beginning wanted to make sure he really valued my friendships as much as I did, and he saw the
Mm-hmm.
fact that these people actually mean something to her. I want to also put in the effort to make sure that I'm getting to know them as well. But in my late teens and early 20s, it was definitely kind of like, obviously, you have such a tight knit group of friends. You guys are going through the same experiences, you're sharing the same adventures. So that's kind of why I feel, gravitate towards prioritizing the friendships at that age.
So I think honestly, I agree with you. I think you prioritize your friendships at that age because it's basically everything that you have, right? You guys are experiencing everything together. You're in university. You guys are living together day in, day out, from the morning to the night. You're just always together. And I think at one point, and when it comes to relationships, and I have to say, it's a two-way street. It's about what you want to have or how you want to have that person be part of your group of friends and how your friends actually accept that person. Because a lot of the times, and obviously, all of our friends are extremely loyal and very close. وكلنا بنشجع بعض. We're also super supportive of one another. كلنا بدنا نضلنا بحياة بعض. كلنا بدنا نكون مع بعض دايما. كلنا بدنا our partners to be very good friends with each other too, right?
Yeah.
Just to make sure that that friendship is maintained even
Yeah.
as you grow into adulthood. But I think it's I think it also has an effect on you and your relationship. So أنا
Yes.
بعرف حالي مثلا إذا أصحابي ما حبوا the person that I'm with, it's going to change my mind a bit about who that person is, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe لأنه هن كتير بحبونا. Oh, mic fell. لأنه هن كتير بحبونا, they want to make sure that this person is right for us as well, right? So they start looking at things from a different perspective and they start giving you their opinions. Sometimes it might be completely off and you kind of show them that it's actually different, right? First impressions are not always everything, and they're not what people make them out to be. But I think it's your job as that person in between, kind of, to make sure that the person that you're with is interacting with your closest group of friends or the people that you
Yeah.
want them to. And it's important for them to acknowledge the fact إنه أصحابك make you who you are as well. They're a huge part of who you are. They might not make you who you are, but they're
Yeah.
a huge part of who you are,
Yeah.
right? And how you want to present yourself.
Especially at that age. But I want to go back to the point of the fact of your friends are going to have an opinion, right? Whether you like it or not, your
Mhm.
friends, especially ones who care about you, are always going to have an opinion about your friendship. They're always going to want the best for you. And so they want to see you with the person that brings out the best in you. And so I think
Yeah.
a lot of the times, if your friends group is seeing the faults or the red flags that you haven't seen in your partner or that you're not able to identify yet in your partner, it becomes harder for them to accept that relationship and to want to put in the effort, because for them it's almost like a ticking time bomb where they're like waiting for this relationship to end. They feel that that person is not someone who's meant to be in your life. But I think also, like, communication, like you said, is key, right? So it's your job to make sure that you're communicating to your partner who are the people that you do want him or her to put in an active effort into making sure that they're building a relationship with them. And then it's like the partner takeover, right? Where like now you can, after you've communicated, you can really understand how is that partner going to take that, how are they going to receive everything that I told them, and what are they going to do about it, right? Because we know of a lot of relationships where the partner is kind of like, I don't give a shit about you or your friendships, and then he isolates you from everyone that you love.
But that's also because you're allowing that person to do it. So I
Yes.
think that's why you have a responsibility
Yeah.
to uphold your friendships and your relationships that you hold very close to you and
Yeah.
make sure that your partner acknowledges these relationships and puts in an effort. ما عم اقول انه لازم يصيروا كلهم best friends، لا، بس
مظبوط.
قديش الشخص بيرتاح بس اصحابه و the person that they're with get along. I think that's the best thing. Like, to me, it makes me so happy that my husband, who is such an easygoing person, right? I mean, he
Gets
basically gets
along with
along
them.
with everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
he like gets along with everyone. Um, but I've learned something from him, and he always says this to me. Before you say to yourself and out loud whether you will, if like a person, one of our friends introduces us to a person that they just first started dating, he says before you say it to yourself and you say it out loud that you don't like the person that they're dating, give them a chance, because this person might be making your friend extremely happy.
Yeah.
Always be honest with your friends, but also always give yourself the time. This is from like a friend's perspective, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that your opinion about this person is actually based on you knowing them and
Yeah.
not just or very early on in their relationship.
Um, but I want to go back to the point that you were talking about when you said um, the fact that, like, if your partner gets along with your friend group, that for me is like the biggest green flag. If there are green flags in the world, if there are green flags in the world, that's the biggest green flag for me, is how your partner, um like the role that he starts to play within your friends group as well. Like, I have friends with Jason, who's my husband, who literally, obviously, I hope they say it in a joking way, but they're like, we love you more now because of Jason, and we love Jason more than you. And I'm like, all right, assholes, thank you so much, you know? But that makes me the happiest person around. Like, they don't know, they think they're messing with me, but that makes me so happy because I do
Of
prioritize
course.
friendships, and the fact that they can all, like, obviously, again, Jason's the same as Laluz, where they get along with everyone, alhamdulillah, but the fact that they have now made their own friendships with people that I love so much and people that I care for so
Yeah.
deeply. Wow, like that is a whole other level of like, this is 100% the person that I need to be spending my life with, you know? For me, that
It
was,
makes you a better person, and it makes
oh
you,
my God.
it puts you in a great position as well, right?
It
But
brings
I
out
think
the
it's a
best in
two-way
you.
thing as well,
Yeah,
of course. And it brings out the best in your friendships as well. And
100%.
because as we, just to go back to the fact that as we grow, our relationships grow with us. So
Yes.
do our friendships. And they evolve and they change with every stage of life. The best friendships are the ones that are friendships that are maintained throughout, and nobody ما حدا بيعتب على حدا. كله بيعرف انه اوكي هيك عم بصير بحياة هالشخص and it's all about the shifting dynamics.
Yeah,
Sometimes you're gonna have to be the friend that is being the most supportive person
yeah,
to a new relationship that your friend has. Sometimes you're gonna be the person that's in a relationship that's going to expect your friends to be supportive of you,
صح.
right? So you have to choose at one point where the balance lies. Which friend are you when it comes to that person's relationship? How is that relationship affecting your friendship? And I know a lot of the times as well, we're talking about friendships and relationships, but a lot of the times you find yourself or people find themselves in a group of friends that are now all either married or dating or they have a significant other and they don't, right? So they're living their kind of single and free life. And to me, أحلى شيء لإلي بس حس إنه my single friend enjoys spending time with me and my husband, for example,
Yeah,
or that we kind of give them that safety net
yeah,
that they can always come back to us, even if they say, guys, ما بدي أشوفكم اليوم رايحة to hang out with single people that are going to, that are like me, for example. And then they say, but I love you. Like, I'll see you. I'll come over one day. We'll just chill, have coffee.
yeah,
That's to
yeah,
me a great example of how your relationship is very good for your friendships, but
yes,
also how your friendships value your relationship,
yeah.
you
I
know?
think
So,
a great way to put it. Um, but I think let's shift a little bit and move a little bit into our 30s, or not 30s, like late
I mean,
20s, which we
yeah,
talked about a little
let's
bit,
say
but
close
like,
to now. Close to
yes,
now.
are now. I think
Mm.
now, like you said, something so important is your friendships also shift and evolve and change the way that you do as a human as you grow older. And I think it very much becomes like quality over quantity, where earlier in your 20s and your late teens, you're kind of bonding over shared experiences and shared adventures and just, exploring everything together. Now, it's
Yeah.
really about that person, no matter what they're going through in their life, you just want to be there for them. So I think in your 30s, you're now able to genuinely understand or like really map out how your relationship is going to work in tandem with these friendships that make sense for you.
Mhm.
And this is when now the partner really needs to like not step up, but like make sure that they're also valuing these people in your life the way that you've valued them forever. You know, for me, for example, like Jason now plays a really big role in a lot of my friendships. He's mended some of my friendships with people that I love that we had like drifts. And then he's also helped me like understand a lot of my friendships. Like, so you kind of like now you and your partner become champions of your friendships as well. And like you said, like it's awesome when um, we literally have like one of my really close friends here. he will come, he'll drive an hour to just come hang out with just me and Jason, do nothing all day, just literally hang out, eat
Yeah.
food, and that's it, you know?
But that's not to say that it's not important كمان. And when you're in a relationship, it's still very important to make sure you have a friendship outside of just your relationships.
Oh yeah,
So making sure you, I don't know, like you and your girls are always going out together, you and your guy best friend that you grew up with, you guys still have that relationship, and it doesn't always have to include your
you're
partner.
right.
I think that, yeah, I think that makes your friendships or your friends feel very valued,
Yeah,
but it also makes your partner's friends feel comfortable with the fact that, oh, okay, they're both to each his own when it comes to some things, and they're both very supportive of each other's independence as well as their codependence on the relationship.
صح.
And I think that is so important.
Yeah,
لأنه بآخر النهار كل واحد منا is her or his own person.
yeah,
And it's very important that you maintain who you are,
yeah,
regardless of the
yeah,
friendship or the relationships. I think one
yeah,
thing that I really value, the fact that when I have friends that are with us the whole time and they're comfortable enough with my significant other, also makes the quality of my friendships with these people so
much better.
much stronger.
Yeah,
Yes. And
like,
it's a two-way street, right? If and
yeah,
then sometimes your friends, when you see how close your friends are or how comfortable they are with your significant other, you also start valuing, you look at your significant other and you really appreciate them for making that friend or that friendship feel very safe and secure with them as well.
100%.
And I think it's to me, and I look at it and I'm like, I love that. Like, I love that, you know?
Yes. Yeah. I love that so much too. Yani, my best friend came and stayed with us literally like we were in a one bedroom, and she stayed with us for 3 weeks with her dog, and like just obviously like me and her have like a completely different level of friendship as well, but her bond with Jason and how much she loves Jason, her dog's fucking bond with Jason and how much the dog loves Jason, like really makes me, like you said, just like look at him differently, look at just like reassures me about like, yes, this is really my partner. This is really someone who
Yeah.
understands how I can prioritize these things. I think that's like
Good.
the ultimate test too, like what, right? When you stay
Cute.
with someone. Um, so it's so beautiful to see
That's
it like
your friendship and your relationship.
tests both. Yeah, 100%. Um, but yeah, so I think like again, like it's just so important that it goes both ways. Yeah, and hatta with me, I think it's what would be interesting here is also to bring in a guy's perspective on this.
I
I've
think we
taught
should definitely bring Jason and Lias into
we
this.
should we
And we
should
should discuss this topic. Maybe
I
we try to do that for next week's episode. Just
yeah,
kind
maybe
of
we
a
will.
continuation, right? Like
Yeah,
part
yeah.
one and part
Part
two.
two. Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it. We'll think
I
about
would
it. No
love to do that.
promises.
I would love to do that. But just to give like a little sneak peek, like I think for guys, it's interesting because like for me, I was always very like comfortable and confident with my relationship with all of my guy friends, right? And I never felt like I needed to distance myself from them after I was in any relationship. La be my 20s, wala halla, wala
Yeah.
be my early teens. I was always like, guy, girl, whoever they are, if they're my friends, they're my friends. But I think with boys, the interesting thing is they tend to drift away, and like obviously I think this is also a guy thing. Like they don't know how to keep in touch as well as like girls can keep in touch. So you feel like no, I always try to make an active effort as Jason's wife to also welcome
Maintain the
and
relationship
nourish
with his friendship.
his female friendships. You know what I mean? Like make sure that they feel
I
comfortable.
mean,
Make
it's not
sure
about just the female friendships. I
that
think it's about making sure the friendships in general, like even with Lias, I want to make sure that I also have a relationship with the
with
people that he holds extremely dear to himself, to him. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? So I
100%.
think that's also, you help that.
Yeah.
Because بآخر النهار a lot of the guys are like, okay, انت اللي حتعمل المشاريع، انت بتحكي مع هيدا، انت بتحكي
100%.
مع this person and that person. So أنا بالنسبة لإلي أنا كمان I want to have that good relationship with his friends because it's very important for me to maintain those friendships for him and for us.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it's for us for sure. And it's very important in both ways, like the both partners in a relationship are making that
Mm-hmm.
active effort to make it happen and like maintain and nourish these friendships both ways. And I think like it's a beautiful thing. It's like a huge green flag for me when the friendships and the relationships are working so well together. And then it's also a greener
Absolutely.
flag. And it's like a cherry, cherry, cherry on top when your significant others, like you and your best friend's significant others, are also so close and they also love each other and they also have their own
Absolutely. Of
relationship. Like
course.
that's what dreams are
I
made of
was
for
just
real.
gonna say, of course, I was just gonna say, I like for me, the best thing, and I was gonna ask you what the best thing for you is, but I think maybe we agree on this. To me, the best thing is when I see that one of my best friends and her husband and my husband, or her boyfriend and my husband, are really good friends, and they have that relationship. To me, it's like, I love it because I know that that friendship is going to stay no matter what. And to
That
me, like when Jess comes to me and he's like, Yara اشتقنا
X,
لفلان
Y, Z.
وفليتين ما بعرف,
Yeah.
like XYZ. And he's like, اشتقنا لهم إنه خلنا نعمل شي معهم. And they're originally my friends, but now
Yeah.
they're of course our friends.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm like, he makes me, or that makes me closer to my friends as well, right? And you
100.
start valuing or seeing these friendships
Yeah.
and your relationship in a different light.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite part about that?
I think that too, honestly, like for me during COVID, we would spend more time in the north just because we're outdoors, like there's much more things to do and there's a lot more people there. Like
Yeah.
Jason started to form one-on-one bonds. Like I would see him going down to one of my closest friends' chalets where we grew up. Like, yeah, this chalet has seen me since I was like preteen, you know? Um,
9.
yes, literally preteen. So, the fact, like when I saw their friendship and their bond grow, I was obsessed. I was like, this is so amazing. Like, yeah, the fact that like once
Yeah.
my significant other like starts to build those relationships and starts to have their own relationships, like now all of a sudden when something happens, he's like, "Oh my God, I need to call Farah to talk about this," you know, and I'm just like, "My
Fun
Farah," you know,
fact.
like it's so cool. Like
Fun
it's
fact. This topic came from Farah's as one of Farah's recommendations.
oh really? We have to make sure that he
Yeah.
watches it all the way to the end then to hear his shout out. But yeah, so I think like it's just to conclude all of this, like I think it's just very important for both the partners to play an active role and for your friends to also play an active role and make sure that they
Yes.
are putting in that effort.
And it's also, I mean, I'm just going to say this from a friend's perspective as well, right? I think it's also, as a friend, I think you also need to make sure that you are putting in the extra effort to kind of get to know your friend's significant other and really understand what their dynamic is, and try to put an effort to go out together, to see them, to get to know them a bit better if it's a new relationship, and to make sure that your friend who's in the relationship feels comfortable enough to come and talk to you about a lot of the things, simply because you want to make sure that you're there for your friend, regardless of how that relationship ends up going. Whether they end up breaking up or marrying that person, you want to make sure that you're there for your friend regardless.
Yes.
And that's why it's how relationships affect friendships, but friendships also affect relationships. And I think it's very important to see the different perspectives, because one point in your life you're going to be that friend, and then in another point you're going to be in that relationship,
Yeah.
be it just a relationship of you guys going out, or you're married and now you have kids. How are you going to maintain those friendships and change them? I mean, I think it's important to really put yourself in that person's shoes and see what works best.
Oh yeah, that's the best advice that Jason ever gave me, is always like put yourself in the other person's shoes. Um,
Yeah.
how would you feel? Like how would you like it? So yeah, I think it's
Take a
very
step
important.
back, think about it, and then react.
Yes, 100%. I did not always do that growing up, but I think now I've gotten better at it. But yeah, so tell us some thoughts on this topic, you guys. How do you feel some of your relationships have affected your friendships, or some of your friendships have affected your relationships as well?
Tell us your thoughts, give us some advice, or give our listeners and the people that are watching this your advice and how to balance the two.
Yes. And subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Everything Petra said.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Until next week.
See you soon. Bye.